Did you know that parents rank financial literacy as the #1 most difficult life skill to teach? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app for families. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn to earn, save, and spend wisely. And parents can rest easy knowing their kids are learning about money with guardrails in place. Try Greenlight risk-free today at greenlight.com/getstarted. That's GREENLIGHT.com/getstarted.
Oh, that sounds awful.
Oh, man, it was. It
just
was.
like a flu, or?
Yeah, I think it was just the flu.
The Council of Scathe approaches. Heathleton, my scepter.
I did not, however, miss this. I didn't miss this.
Yeah, sorry. So while you were...
Upon the death of Cecil, cognitive dissonance...
Not my last name,
Emperor Bosnick did declare himself ruler of these fine podcasts. Announce yourselves.
Tom, cognitive dissonance.
Oh, Tom, don't.
I like
Keith,
to play along.
What are you doing? Why are you part of this?
He said I could be Duke. Plus he won rock, paper, scissors.
Stop throwing paper every time.
That's what they want you to want them to think.
Silence! Heathleton, the gifts for our guests.
Oh, okay. Well, hell, if there's gifts, I'll play along. Thank you, Your Highness.
Jeez. Usually Eli shenanigans turn out.
Oh,
but if
that's a box of shit. His shit.
There we go. There it is.
Are you going to finish it, or what's happening? Don't make it weird.
Hello and welcome to Citation Needed, the podcast where we choose a subject, read a single article about it on Wikipedia, and pretend we're experts, because this is the internet, and that's how it works now. I'm Noah, and I'll be furiously waving my stick at a discordant orchestra, but I can't make this music alone. First of all, please welcome the percussion section of our band, Tom and Eli.
Fun little fact, percussion just means hitting stuff. And if you don't do it in any discernible rhythm, you can call beating your kids jazz.
And if you can do it without looking, you're Ray Charles. So it's...
I thought we could get through this without any child beating. I was wrong. I was wrong.
It's a stupid thing for you to
that's
think.
on you.
And also joining us tonight are two guys who didn't realize they were talking about jazz vocals when they asked for scat, Heath and Cecil.
Okay, I thought my shitting song was super jazzy. Was it not, like, jazzy, or...
You are the shitting image of Dizzy Gillespie. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, but with the other cheeks. Yeah, I see it. I see it.
Salt peanuts.
Anyway, before we get the show going, we need to take a second to thank the patrons. So, thank you, patrons. You're the best. I really should give myself more than a second next time. And, of course, if you'd like to learn how to join their ranks, be sure to stick around to the end of the show. And with that out of the way, tell us, Tom, what person, place, thing, concept, phenomenon, or event will we be talking about today?
Today we'll be talking about Edward Norton. No, wait,
sure
Emperor Norton. I should read this more carefully. I wrote a lot of the wrong joke.
And Eli, you either read or outsourced the reading of this article. Are you ready to enlighten us?
I'm downright crazy about it, Noah.
All right, so who was Emperor Norton?
Emperor Norton was a insane person that San Francisco was kind of nice to in the late 1800s.
We would be disappointed but unsurprised if that was the end of your essay. It isn't, is it?
I mean, it could be. You guys want to hang out? We could just like hang out instead.
No.
Let's do the essay.
No.
Okay, so there's some disagreement on when he was born. It's either 1818, 1819, or 1814. And if you want to see what a paragraph looks like when it's constructed by three insanely disagreeable assholes who seem financially invested in their interpretation of this guy's birth year, they have two of those on Wikipedia. You can read both of them. Anyway, most people say 1818, so we'll use that. The important thing is, it doesn't matter.
Oh, so it's like Supreme Court nomination hearings then.
And like FBI investigation.
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
They go hand in hand, it turns out.
Don't matter.
Emoluments clauses and whatnot.
Right. So what we know for sure is that Joshua Abraham Norton was born to John and Sarah Norton, British Jews that took him to South Africa in 1820, back before stealing Africa from the Africans seemed like such a clearly bad idea. Anyways, he grew up there, but when his mother died in 1846 and his dad passed away 2 years later, he set sail for America.
Oh, man, stealing Africa from Africans is like a whole thing. I'm thinking I go vice versa.
Oh, gee. Christ.
All right, so just for the record, this coming from South Africa thing will not be the last similarity to Elon Musk in the story.
Nope.
Yeah, no, that joke's going to make more and more sense the deeper into the archives this episode goes, right?
Yeah, I mean, Noah, I'm pretty sure that when you wrote that joke, he still had a job. So it's really it's evergreen. So Norton winds up in San Francisco in 1849 with today's equivalent of $250,000 inheritance. Now, one of the angry wiki authors would like to point out in an elaborate detail that there's no contemporary evidence that he had an inheritance from his family, but the alternative is that he set sail for San Francisco and made himself one of the most prosperous real estate speculators in the city within 3 years with no startup capital, which is pretty hard to believe. So we're going to go with the traditional telling wherein Joshua Norton can't lay eggs full of currency. But it's out there. It's out. The alternate theory is out there.
But still, I mean, $250,000 in San Francisco, that's like buying in for one chip at the poker game. Like, you buy a parking spot and flip it for a big profit? Like, buy a house made of poison and sell it to a podcaster? I don't know how you would make that much money on that.
Sleeping there
They
soon.
say, he didn't have any money of his own, but he just borrowed $1 million from his dad. He's a self-made man, guys.
No, right.
Self-made.
Hey, man, luck is the same thing as hard work, Cecil. Just ask anyone from Yale.
Yeah.
Not
Same
anyone.
thing.
We have a couple of people you're allowed to ask. So in December of 1852, Norton thinks he spies an opportunity to make some serious bank. You see, China was experiencing a severe famine at the time, and they'd placed a ban on the export of rice. Now, this caused the price of rice in San Francisco to skyrocket. So Norton sprung into action and tried to corner the market by buying the entire first shipment of rice to arrive from Peru.
Okay, just a quick thing. I'm pretty sure you're supposed to do that before the price skyrockets. Eli, are you listening to the story you're telling? I feel like it's a teachable moment for you.
I am not. Now, rice was selling at 36 cents a pound in stores. He got 200,000 pounds of it at 12.5 cents a pound. So he stood to make a fortune. That is until dozens of other shipments of rice arrived because Norton forgot that the Earth had more than one boat.
Yeah, I feel like there's like a big difference between the first boat and the only boat. Like, did
Yes.
nobody explain that qualifier to him?
Yeah.
Key difference.
Yeah. This is all definitely supporting the inheritance theory in my mind.
Take it up with the chat page, Noah. Take it up with the chat page. So at this point, Norton is pissed. So he tries to void his contract, arguing that the dealer misled him as to the quality of the rice.
And he almost got away with it, but they threw him in the paddy wagon. Rice patty. So that's for you in the back, guys. You in the back, rice patty. I'll show myself out.
So the case actually wound up in the courts for 4 years, eventually reaching the Supreme Court of California, but the courts found against Norton. Between the miscalculation on rice futures and the protracted legal battle, Norton lost his fortune, and by 1858, he filed for bankruptcy and moved into
the extra room at his friend's apartment in Cincinnati. I feel like we're getting somewhere.
close, a working-class boarding house.
Yeah, it is pretty close.
Go back to Africa, you bum.
Oh, Jesus.
It's okay. We had to pull that audio from a different episode.
It's not racist because he's white.
So Over the next couple of years, like so many white guys who lose the money they got for free, Norton grew increasingly disgruntled by what he called the inadequacies of legal and political structures in the United States.
Okay, and I'm guessing he then invented the term incel? Was he the first incel?
Close. So on September 17th of 1859, he decides to fix America by himself by declaring himself Emperor of the United States. In the following letter.
I kind of am in love with this man right now.
I love this guy.
Yeah. Here's the letter. Quote, at the peremptory request and desire of a large majority of the citizens of these United States, I, Joshua Norton, formerly of Algoa Bay, Cape of Good Hope, and now for the last 9 years and 10 months of SF Cal, declare and proclaim myself Emperor of these U.S., and, in virtue of the authority thereby in me, vested do hereby order and direct the representative of the different states of the Union to assemble in musical hall of this city on the first day of Feb. Next, then, and there, to make such alterations in the existing laws of the Union as may ameliorate the evils under which the country is laboring, and thereby cause confidence to exist, both at home and abroad, in our stability and integrity. Signed,
Brett Kavanaugh.
Norton the First, Emperor of the United States.
P.S. I am a lodestar for restoring honor to public life.
PPS, fuck all the Stacys, women owe me sex.
PPPS, I have no clothes and no, that is not a toadstool.
All right, so is that how it's done? That's all it takes to become emperor? Or do you also have to spell your name in all lowercase?
Ah, great. Now I'll never be emperor. So Norton distributed his letter to all the local newspapers, and because laughing at mentally ill people was still okay back then, even if you weren't on a podcast, the editor of the San Francisco Bulletin decided to print the letter, as a goof. So this would mark the beginning of Norton's 21-year reign over the country, though he would eventually add Protector of Mexico to his title.
Protector of Mexico? Oh, let me guess. He was another mentally ill guy that wanted to build a wall, right?
Oh, my God. If only we could get these two together, right? I mean, it would be worth the $50 billion or whatever for the border between the U.S. and Mexico just to be a fucked up MC Escher zone of sideways stairs to upside down doorways and shit. It'd be fucking awesome.
Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and point out here that the deranged fake emperor already cares more about international relations than the current administration, who we also didn't really elect.
Exactly. Okay, but he was different from Trump in other ways. So once he took the mantle of emperor, he got right to work fixing America. So there's a difference right away. Among his first acts was a decree that abolished Congress, which I think we can all agree was a good start. When the order was ignored, he summoned the army to depose all of Congress, saying in part, quote, now, therefore, we do hereby order and direct Major General Scott, the commander-in-chief of our armies, immediately, upon receipt of this, our decree, to proceed with a suitable force and clear the halls of Congress, end quote.
Now you just walk in there with a camera and ask somebody, hey, we need death panels, right? I feel like we need death panels. Okay, but how would an FBI investigation hurt, though? Could you say how it would hurt? Name all your black friends, and they're gone.
You walk in and just nominate Merrick Garland to the Supreme Court, and you see a fucking tumbleweed roll by.
Or you could also offer a deal on a Superbird after a Matlock rerun. Also, good way to clear the room.
Or show up past 7
Walk in there with a t-shirt gun full of pillows and just boom.
Start smothering, end a cuckoo's nest. I get it.
Turn the heat up 3 degrees. They all just go to sleep.
They just argue about it for all day. They would never get it. That's how you do a filibuster. You fuck with the thermostat. That's how you do a filibuster.
Now, by the way, in case you're curious, the reference to Major General Scott was to Winfield Scott, who was the commanding general of the U.S. Army at the time. He was not, as the decree implies, commander-in-chief of the Army. That would have been Franklin Pierce, the President of the United States. Yeah.
I was trying to think of a more obscure president, and then I didn't remember John Tyler. So.
Well, there you go.
The guy from Aerosmith?
Aerosmith? The way you spelled Aerosmith in your notes is a war crime. Are you serious?
They make arrows with their rock.
Nope.
I don't know.
You
The
didn't
Army.
even spell arrow right.
That,
though.
even that wouldn't be right, though.
I did my best, and that's all that mattered. The Army, the Army, of course, didn't clear the halls of Congress, which the Wiki article presents as though there was some question about how that part of his life worked out.
The next day, he's got a full-page article that just says, treason?
Well, no, okay, but so now the Army isn't doing what he tells them. This guy sounded more like Trump all the time.
Right? Can you imagine his confusion? But I wrote them a letter, a whole letter.
Right. So by 1860, Norton was done fucking around, and he ordered the dissolution of the Republic and forbade the assembly of any members of former Congress. In 1862, he issued a mandate ordering both the Roman Catholic Church and the Protestant churches to publicly ordain him emperor. And when that didn't work out, he abolished both political parties.
Fucking third-party emperors. Jesus Christ.
Right.
Yeah.
You guys, fuck Al Gore. This is an angry person just writing shit down and pretending it's true and pretending that it matters and that anyone cares. I mean, this guy invented the internet.
The first podcaster. Now, of course, Norton realized that all politics are local, so he instituted a stiff fine for anybody anywhere in the world who referred to his beloved home city as Frisco. What?
That's awesome.
Here's the quote from the proclamation. Quote, "Whoever, after due and proper warning, shall be heard to utter the abominable word Frisco, which has no linguistic or other warrant, shall be deemed guilty of a high misdemeanor, and shall pay into the imperial treasury as penalty the sum of $25. End quote.
Okay, this one I can totally get behind. Maybe add a few others, too. Like, anyone who says Chi-Town or Hot Atlanta, jail.
Yes.
You ever called Detroit the D, you go to jail. Anyone who's ever asked to speak to your manager, jail. Definitely jail. If your drink order takes more than 5 seconds, you go straight to jail. You have 5 seconds. If you've ever can't even, jail. If you can't even, you go to jail. Okay, just one other one. Last one. If you sexually assault a 15-year-old girl at a party when you're 17, I say jail.
Yes.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Just a few new ideas.
Yes.
Yeah, it's nice to dream, buddy.
Yeah.
Nice to dream.
Yeah, we're never going to get people to order drinks that fast, Heath. Get real.
People use portmanteaus of bro, like procrastinate, jail.
Oh, my
Broby
God.
one Kenobi, jail. None of that.
No,
versus Wade.
no. Hard no on Broby one Kenobi.
Broby one Kenobi is what I'm calling Cecil now for the rest of his life.
From jail.
And I'm going to relish in it.
Broby one
All right, so obviously Emperor Norton loved San Francisco, and for its part, San Francisco loved him right back. He was such a celebrity in the city that even his dogs were widely known.
Were they horribly unethical beasts that suffocated as they lived?
No, Cecil, because if they were, he would have been known as Norton, the guy with the bestest, cutest doggy woggies in the world. Look at their paws. Anyways, local papers dutifully printed his proclamations, and when this is so sad, when a police officer arrested him and tried to get him the help he so desperately and obviously needed, it sparked outrage and scathing editorials. Within days, the police chief ordered him released and issued a formal apology on behalf of the police department. Norton, for his part, granted an imperial pardon to the police officer.
Yes. Guys, he's the Kanye of 1800 San Francisco. He is clearly very unwell. And like, we turned him into a kind of adorable public pet that we coo at and laugh along with, even as condition slowly worsens, because his suffering is hilarious.
Yeah. Look at those tiny shoes.
All right, well, this just turned into more of a celebration about how great it is to be white than I was hoping for. So we're going to pause for a quick break and a little apropos of nothing.
Kanye's black.
Yeah, that line wasn't in there when I wrote it. That's a new line.
Get off me! Get off! Get off!
Got another one, boss.
Bring him over here.
I think it's psychic valve. I'm trying to inspect local property for defect. He's harmless, but
No, wait a second there. That's Emperor Norton. Willie, get out here. Come look who the new guy brought in.
Why, it's Emperor Norton.
Fish hammocks. They all need hammocks. We got to make hammocks
sorry,
for the fish.
Emperor who? Who?
The chief has got to see this. Chief, look at the new guy's collar.
Why, that's Emperor Norton.
Can someone tell me what's going on?
He's a local maloink. Welcome sunspot in a little town of Frisco.
No. Money. You get...
Oh, I'm sorry, Your Highness. I will give you that money next week, okay?
I want it on Fundles Day.
Sounds good, yep.
Fundles Day.
Guys, what the hell is going on? This man is a danger to himself. Come on. He's obviously not well. He needs help. We're the police. We're supposed to protect people, not laugh at him.
Okay, new guy, you want to take him to the monkey house? Be my guest.
Because, it is 1827.
Yeah, no, they're probably just going to shock his balls, trepan his skull or something,
But he's crazy. Listen to him.
No, okay, but you and I, we enforce laws we didn't write at the point of a gun on people who aren't hurting anybody. There's enough food and bounty on this planet to feed, clothe, and help people like Norton many times over, but instead we kill each other, we hurt each other, and we leave men like Norton in the street to die. Are we any less mad?
I guess you're free to go, Emperor.
A McPoo-poo.
You gonna finish that, or?
And we're back. When we last left off, Congress was raining on his parade, and the locals were parading on his reign. So Eli, pick things up from the last time he peed on that cat on 16th Street or whatever.
Okay, that was me, and the cat started it by being so attractive. Anyway, eventually, Joshua Norton belatedly realized that the Congress wasn't dissolving upon his command, nor was the army arresting them for their insolence. So he set his sights a little lower and focused on the capital of his empire a little more. I mean, he wasn't neglecting the empire, mind you. He was still calling for national and even global change, but he was also pretty concerned about the lack of a bridge connecting San Francisco to Oakland.
What?
Unfortunately, despite his celebrity, the city leaders also ignored him. Right, so here's an increasingly frustrated imperial decree from him in September of 1872. Quote, whereas we issued our decree ordering the citizens of San Francisco and Oakland to appropriate funds for the survey of a suspension bridge from Oakland Point via Goat Island, also for a tunnel, and to ascertain which is the best project, and whereas the said citizens have hitherto neglected to notice our said decree, and whereas we are determined our authority shall be fully respected, now, therefore, we do hereby command the arrest by the army of both the boards of the city fathers if they persist in neglecting our decrees, given under the royal hand and seal at San Francisco, the 17th day of September, 1872. End quote.
I gotta say, I have to get more whereases, hithertos, and therebys into my proclamation game. I mean, that's insane, but it sounds so good.
Sounds great.
This is seriously the 1800s grown man version of stomping his feet and screaming, "Mom, you're not watching me, Mom!"
But with wherebys and therefores and hithertos.
And respecting my authority. It's like half Eli, half Cartman. It's pretty great. Honestly, it feels like it's about to devolve into the text messages I get from Eli if I don't very quickly respond to his joke. Like, first it's passive aggressive, like sometimes just a question mark after 10 minutes, but then it escalates really fast. All of a sudden, it's like, picture of my mom at the window of her house and Eli's hand in the foreground with like a butter knife. Like, what the fuck's happening?
I yell a racial slur at Disneyland for you, and all you can do is say LOL. Jasmine punched me. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this on air. Of course. Now, there's more to being emperor than just issuing decrees. You guys probably already know that. You also have to walk the walk. And according to the article, Norton, quote, spent his days inspecting San Francisco's streets in an elaborate blue uniform with gold-plated epaulets given to him by officers of the United States Army post at the Presidio of San Francisco.
Why?
He also wore a beaver hat decorated with a peacock feather and a rosette. He frequently enhanced his regal posture with a cane or umbrella, end quote.
I just love the Wiki's choice of words here. Enhanced this regal posture, right? Because they just got done with beaver hat with a peacock feather sticking out of it, so they knew that they'd already painted regal posture pretty vividly. So the umbrella, it was just an enhancement of said regality.
Exactly. Now, he wasn't just going around to show off his awesome peacock beaver hat. He would also examine the condition of sidewalks, the streets, the cable cars, just generally keep an eye on the state of public property and the appearance of police officers. The wiki also says he was prone to giving, quote, lengthy philosophical expositions on a variety of topics to anyone within earshot, end quote. Which is Wikipedia's way of saying scream about random shit like the crazy person he so clearly was.
Poor guy.
Those guys are the best when you're bartending, though. Whenever somebody's being shitty, you're just like, hey, Velcro Jack, come here, Velcro Jack. This guy was saying that risk control doesn't matter at all. Is that true? Is that true that risk control doesn't matter? He also said the Fed is just our central bank, and that's it. He said both of those things just now.
I love that this guy's just wandering around inspecting the appearance of police officers. Like, okay, and you, my good man, are hitherto missing your duck-skinned shin guards, and whereby by the authority vested within my authorship of this monkey's paw codpiece, you are in violation of the dress code of the Royal Order of Water Buffalo. What say you?
See? Couple thereby and warehouse and shit. You got it.
Exactly.
That sounds so good.
Now, sometimes his insanity worked out to the public good. During the 1860s and 70s, there were occasional anti-Chinese riots in the city, often ending in fatalities. During one of these incidents, Norton is said to have stood between the rioters and their targets and loudly repeated the Lord's Prayer until the rioters fucked off.
That's pretty great. You guys picturing just like a giant crowd of old-timey Marky Marks, just all twitchy, doing that like pre-fight white guy dance where they're like sort of pushing each other, running around, getting ready, then just getting slowly shh by this guy.
I mean, I am now.
There's some angry rioters looking kind of crestfallen, like, you made this weird, man. Why'd you have to make this weird?
Now, Norton also took advantage of his imperial authority to print currency. He reportedly issued his own money to pay personal debts, which actually became accepted as local currency in a few establishments in the city.
It's just like Heath points. I told you guys, it's just like any other fiat currency. You're allowed, you take them, it's full faith and credit of Heath.
The city of the board's supervisors also appropriated funds to buy him a new uniform when the old one started looking shabby or, shit-stained. Norton responded with a thank you note and a proclamation declaring each supervisor a noble in his imperial court.
And here's a treasury note for one free tickle fight. Enjoy.
And then he invited them all to the cardboard box estates, and he served his finest Mad Dog 2020 to him. You like to smell the cap, sir?
All right. All right. So obviously a candle burning this brightly can't burn forever, Eli. So where does his story end?
You said it, Noah. Tragically, like so many bright lights in this world. On the evening of January 8th, 1880, Norton collapsed while en route to a lecture at the California Academy of Sciences.
And the tradition of homeless students failing continues to this day, everyone.
Now, the police officer that was first to respond recognized Norton and called for a carriage to take him to the hospital immediately. But before the carriage could arrive, Norton died. As San Francisco's Morning Call put it in an obituary they ran the following day, quote, "On the reeking pavement, in the darkness of a moonless night, under the dripping rain, Norton I, by the grace of God, Emperor of the United States and Protector of Mexico, departed this life." End quote. At which point, someone probably turned to whoever wrote that and was like, "Really, Dave?" And Dave was like, "What? What? We like making fun of Emperor Norton." And the first guy was like, "Yeah, it just feels, I don't know. It's weird. He's dead. It feels weird." Now, before he died, there were a lot of rumors that he actually never lost his fortune, just his mind, and that the emperor was actually filthy rich. But after his death, it quickly became clear that those were unfounded. He was worth something like $7 at the time of his death. Nothing of value was found at his apartment, though there were fake telegrams purporting to be from Emperor Alexander II of Russia, congratulating Norton on his forthcoming marriage to Queen Victoria, as well as one from the President of France warning that his marriage to Victoria would be disastrous to world peace.
Well, apparently he was just constantly showing up at people's houses and rolling out a giant scroll, making weird declarations. So I'm hoping somebody was sending those telegrams to fuck with him. He's like, "Dear Emperor, your patent on grandeur has been accepted. You've invented grandeur. Congratulations."
If they didn't, I mean, it just takes one title to get Victoria to throw her legs up over her shoulders. I mean, Jesus, I haven't heard of that big a real estate slut since Melania Trump.
When I go mad, and I certainly frequently feel like I am, I want my life to be just one endless, insane fan fiction to myself like this.
All right, so let me guess here. They build a bridge to Oakland so they can scatter his ashes off of it. That's how I would
like
end
that.
it.
Yeah.
I like it. No, originally a pauper's funeral was planned, but San Francisco wouldn't let the emperor go out like that. So a few local business associations established a funeral fund that provided for a suitably dignified farewell. Norton's funeral was held the Sunday after he died and was attended by people of all walks of life. It was reported at the time that upwards of 10,000 people lined the streets to pay their respect to Emperor Norton. Now, Norton lives on in American literature, though. I mean, Mark Twain, who lived in San Francisco during Emperor Norton's reign, modeled the king in The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn after Norton. He also appears as a character in Robert Louis Stevenson's The Wrecker. San Francisco never forgot its emperor either. Starting in 1974, there's been an annual memorial just outside the graveyard where Norton was buried, and in January of 1980, the city held a ceremony to honor the 100th anniversary of the death of, quote, "the one and only emperor of the United States," end quote. In 2013, a San Francisco-based nonprofit launched an effort to name the San Francisco-Oakland Bay Bridge after him.
Yes.
What?
Their undying love for him even extends to his Wikipedia page, which somebody or bodies clearly comb through regularly to dispute anything that makes him sound like, you know, a desperately mentally ill person who San Francisco kept as a pet. Now, even though the United States never fully recognized Norton's authority, there is one official record of it. The 1870 census lists one Joshua Norton as a 50-year-old man residing at 624 Commercial Street. Under occupation, it lists emperor. The document also notes that he's insane.
All right, so if you had to summarize what you've learned in one sentence, what would it be?
That shoeless guy who rides the A train is going to have a hell of a funeral.
I know that guy. I know that guy.
Please help me get something to eat. That guy?
Velcro Jack.
All right.
Yeah, he outlasted me in New York City.
Well, there you go. All right, so you ready for a quiz from the panel?
As ready as Emperor Norton was for antipsychotics, Noah.
All right, I'm going first. Eli, what's the difference between you and Emperor Norton? It's not multiple choice. I'm just really asking. Anybody can say something.
Nice one, Heath, but I clearly think that Noah and Cecil are in charge. So, sane.
All right, Eli. Inspired by Emperor Norton, you created your own currency. What is it called? A, the Boz nickel.
I like it.
B, the pedo.
You get me.
C, the uncontrollable shit coin.
Thank you.
Or D, the UN Benet Ramsey.
Excellent. D is excellent, but I'm going to go with B just because it ties up the Elon Musk joke from earlier in the show so well.
Yeah,
So I'm
absolutely
going with
does.
B.
Yeah, it's correct. Sure.
Thank you.
All right, Eli. Being mentally ill can be a great gig.
Tell me about it, Tom.
So long as you have one of the funny mental illnesses. So which of the below is a viable lunacy to consider for fun and profit? A, busiitis, a disease of the mind and jawline characterized by the desire to remove your enemy's endocrine system in rage. B, Lohanism, a malady suffered when your 15 minutes were up 20 minutes ago, but you've forgotten how to tell time and you move your body like an 80-year-old war veteran. C, Kanye syndrome, a set of symptoms characterized by having so much money, you cease to be worthy of dignity. Or D, Trumpastrophe, a potentially fatal condition whereby your desire to make America great again conflicts with the inability to point out just exactly when that first time was.
Secret answer E, the speech Steve Buscemi gives in the movie Con Air.
All right, well, it looks like Tom was the first to best you, Eli, so he will be the winner. He'll take over as host next week, and he gets to decide who has to do all the work next week.
Now, let's see. I am going to pick Heath because it says that that's the guy next on the schedule.
Hey.
Yeah, it does on the thing. All right, well, for Cecil, Eli, Heath, and Tom, I'm Noah. Thanking you for hanging out with us today. We'll be back next week, and by then, Heath will be an expert on something else. Between now and then, you can hear more from Tom and Cecil by checking out the Cognitive Dissonance podcast or by surreptitiously dropping a recording device when you're invited to their studio, which I haven't done, but if I had Cecil, I agree with Tom. You can also hear more from Eli, Heath, and me on the Scathing Atheist, God Awful Movies, and the Skeptocrat. And if you'd like to help keep this show going, you can make a per episode donation at patreon.com/citationpod or leave us a 5-star review everywhere you can. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, check out past episodes, connect with us on social media, or check out the show notes, be sure to check out citationpod.com. Okay, we ready to record?
I'm recording.
Give me 1 second. I got to take a shit.
Okay, are you going to finish it, though?
Rule of 3, bitches. Rule of 3s.
This message comes from Greenlight. Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Join millions of parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get started risk-free at greenlight.com/get-started. That's GREENLIGHT.com/get-started.